fans, and welcome to another edition of Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV. Tonight we're going to talk baseball. Head baseball coach Ken Jackson will join us to update us on baseball here at Southwest. And we're going to start a new series. We're going to look at COVID-19 and how it affects the student athlete. We're going to talk Southwest football in our second segment here tonight on Bear TV. So bear down, let's get to it. It's Inside Bear Athletics on Bear TV. Welcome back to Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV. Every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, you can enjoy this program. Tonight, we visit with baseball. Head coach Ken Jackson joins us on the program. Coach, good evening.
Good evening, Vision. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you on Bear TV. Let's talk, before we talk about this season, let's back up to last season. You come and have the kids back in January. Everything's moving along great. You play your non-division schedule. Spring break hits. You decide to give the team a couple of days off before they start their division schedule, and this thing called COVID-19 hits. Before we talk about COVID-19 completely, what was your first thought when spring break, when you sent the kids to spring break? What was your thoughts on the season?
Well, everything was, we had really started playing well. We had won 5 games in a row. Felt really good about our team. Sent them home for spring break. We're bringing them back in on Thursday. We had to open up the division game on Saturday. Brought them back in probably about 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon, maybe a little bit earlier. And I see them all walking in. How's your spring break? I get a phone call from Dr. Bishop. Says, Coach, we're shutting down for a few weeks. Send them back on. And they were all literally sitting in the dressing room, dressed, ready to go to practice, and sent them home. And that's the last time I saw them.
When you talk about sending them home, as a coach, that's not a conversation you've ever had to have with the team. How did you go about telling your team, hey guys, we're going to go home for a couple of weeks? And then likewise, how did you tell your team, hey, this season's done? Well,
it's kind of crazy the way it all transpired. You know, you tell them, guys, grab your bags, because a lot of kids had not taken their duffel bags and backpacks home, or gloves, bat helmets, bats. I sent bats home, I sent gloves home, backpacks home. Obviously, if I had to do it again, I would not, because it was a hard process getting all that back. But, you know, you just tell them, hey, it's going to be a couple of weeks, just kind of stay sharp, make sure you throw bullpens, hit in the cage, take care of your business. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. And then, you know, 3 or 4 weeks later, we're having a Zoom call, I guess, at that point, basically telling them, guys, the season's over. It's done. I don't see us coming back. And the process of now trying to get things finalized with getting kids on to other places and other schools, and find out then and staying on them academically. So it was a very rough, I guess, probably the end of March and April for us last year.
So obviously you talked about the academic part of it. A lot of these coaches, you included, are very hands-on with your players, not only on the field but off the field as far as academics goes. Suddenly the kids are looking at all Zoom classes. You got to make sure the GPA stays where it needs to stay to keep them eligible. So how was your communication with the kids, especially with Zoom and things, text messages and things you're not used to using to contact your team?
Well, basically what we did with ours was we divided our team up into 3, and we had 3 coaches, and all 3 of us took specific players. And basically we felt like we needed to have some type of contact with them every day. Every day, especially Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Weekends, give them the weekend as you normally would, but the rest of the week constantly staying on them And then after a couple of weeks, we flipped players, and that way we'd be talking to another player, constantly texting them. And then we created some Zoom calls a couple of times, just to have contact with, to see them visually. But it was a challenge, and our grades hurt because of it. We've been averaging a 3.4, 3.5 GPA, and we dropped down to a 3.2, which is still very good, but that's not where we had been, and I felt like them going home had an effect on that.
Well, likewise, Coach, the high school baseball seasons all get canceled too. You like to get out to the games, see the players, especially in community college. You're always sending them in, sending them out. You didn't get to really evaluate kids on their senior season. So how did you go about filling the holes that you did have?
A lot of phone calls, a lot of videos, and that's crazy. And then obviously the recruiting process began happening more on Zoom. I mean, we had 2 or 3 Zoom calls with recruits, scholarship recruits that we had kind of talked to a little bit, and all of a sudden, instead of getting them in on a visit, we couldn't bring them on campus, and so now we're having to do it through a Zoom, which was extremely frustrating, extremely different, but it all worked out. And you start making phone calls to coaches. Hey, what do you have? Here's what we need, and so forth. Guys, you know everybody in your area. We had seen, probably 4 weeks of baseball at that point. We had just gotten back from a big tournament down the coast, the bow of the beach down there, and we had seen a lot of baseball down there. So luckily we had made those trips, and it was able to be beneficial because of it.
Well, Coach, we move out of the spring semester into summer, and of course, baseball is an outdoor sport, so you had some advantages that some indoor sports didn't. And not just your team, but I noticed several times during the summer the baseball field had the lights on, so you were able to get some baseball in, and some other teams were able to come in and use your facility as well. So I know you had to feel at least nice having some action on the baseball field.
We got a little normalcy toward the end of the summer, had a couple summer tournaments on the field that we were able to see some players, but we, again, staying with the state mandated attendance and all that kind of stuff, and the distance and all that. But our kids then, I tell you what we really benefited was Coach Cornwell, our strength and conditioning coach, set us up a program that our kids could use on their phones or apps, and was able to lift weights and do some things. And we were able, as coaches, able to track them. Instead of just saying, hey, are you lifting today? Yeah, I lifted. Well, you don't know if that's true or not, and most of the time it's not true. But this way, we were able to track them a little bit closer. Still had to have a lot of faith in them doing their work. But you were able to do some things, and I thought that was very beneficial to us, that we had not had in the past, and we were just implementing it anyway. So.
Well, Coach, then we get to July. You talked about late summer. Rumors of school starting in fall had came, but you really didn't know if school would get started. It finally does get started in August, and you're able to finally get the team together, but you're still under some different protocols, so it was even still different having the team back, wasn't it?
There's nothing normal right now, and it's still not real normal. We were able to get them in here, but then we had to do the distancing and the mask, and trying to practice with masks, trying to lift weights with masks. And of course, the ultimate happens, you're going to send somebody home. And all of a sudden, not only does one go home, his roommate goes home. Not only does his roommate go home, his weightlifting group goes home. Not only does the weightlifting group goes home, sometimes it's his position group goes home. And so all of a sudden, you go from one player going home to 6 or 7, 8 players going home for 10 days, 14 days, whatever the protocol is. And so, and it's been a constant challenge for us the whole semester. But our kids have adapted. That's one thing about young kids, unlike me, the older guy, we don't adapt very well to change. Young people adapt. The mask to them, there's nothing to it anymore. It still bothers me, that I'm having to wear a mask certain places, but to a young player like that, we've practiced with them, we've lifted weights with them, we've thrown bullpens with them. keep your distance. We never have team meetings anymore that we're all close together. We're all spread out, and I feel like I'm having to holler half the time so everybody can hear me. But they've done very well with the adaptation of it.
Of course, you do. Actually, in the fall, not a quote-unquote season, but you did get some games in this fall, didn't you?
We did. We had luckily there were several schools that lost games because of COVID. The only game we lost was because of hurricane, which is hurricane number 20, I guess, this year.
We've had a ton of those.
So,
We've had a ton of those.
and don't ask me to name them.
No. We're in the Greek alphabet
That's
now.
right. But we did lose one because of the hurricane that we had, and that we just couldn't make up, and we're through with fall ball now. But we had some success, and felt like we got a lot out of it, and just the idea of getting back into some normalcy.
Absolutely. I know you had several different games you played this fall. Tell us about your team that you've seen this fall. What do we expect in the spring?
I love our team. They're number one. They're good kids. They're good citizens. They behave themselves. They've done exactly what we ask of them to do. They seem like they're trying to take care of their business in the classroom. Again, it's been a challenge for them. When you get sent home, we've got one player that's been sent home now for the third time this semester, and he has just got it this past week. But he's been sent home because his exposure, his closeness to it, and you get sent home that many days and miss that many days of school, and trying to do all that at home, it's just a challenge for them. So those guys have done their business there. They've worked hard in the weight room. They've worked hard in the practice field. I like our club. We've just got to get some things fixed that I think because of missing a lot of summer ball, missing a lot of spring ball last year, we just got to get some things fixed on it. But they work hard.
Well, working hard. You talked about it a moment ago, missing spring, missing summer. Are the athletes, in your opinion, behind any or right where they need to be?
No doubt behind. And unlike other sports, and again, I've coached just about every sport you can call. A football player can miss a spring training. They're behind, but their body is physically better. A baseball player, because of the process of the sport and the skill it takes, you miss time on the field, actual game time. It takes time to get back. Not that they can't get back, it just takes time. And that's what we're having to do right now, is try to make up for that time, doing a lot of live situations as much as possible so they get that live rep.
Well, Coach, let's talk about a couple of things in addition to baseball. One thing I like that you've done the last few years is this fall league that you got started. I know just last week you concluded it, so that's a pretty big deal to have those kids come on campus.
We actually finished it last night. It was the last one we had. We did 6 weeks. We added 2 extra weeks in there because of the summer ball, because of the spring ball they missed last year. We had 34 players, everywhere from South Louisiana to Columbia to Brookhaven to Liberty, and obviously areas of our 4 counties. But it's really went well. I was very pleased with it. We did some things a little different this year, trying to give them more reps. We played games, but while we're playing the game, they're also going to hit in the batting cage just to get reps. And I thought it went very well, and I think those kids got some benefit from it. I think they get benefit from it anytime they step on the field, but we really try to emphasize the gaining the experience this year.
Of course, you've got another one coming up. You've got a showcase for those 9th through 12th graders. You're going to do that on a Sunday in November. Tell us about that.
That's more of a recruiting. That's trying to get some kids in from especially Louisiana, from the Hammond area, Baton Rouge area, New Orleans area. That's more of a recruiting, but it's open to anybody 9 through 12, and we'll go through a basic standard showcase format where you run 60s and you throw and you take ground balls and you hit and you pitch, and you get the idea of it's a pro style workout, and no different if you were working out for a pro scout. And we'll have probably 5 or 6, 7 junior colleges will be here watching it also, for their benefit. So it's very well worth it, and we're just trying to a lot of schools around here, a lot of our junior colleges do that, and we're just trying to give these kids locally a little bit of the opportunity to do it.
And of course, that's coming up in November the
15th.
15th.
I think that's right.
It's a Sunday, and if somebody's interested in anything, always go to southwestbearathletics.com,
Absolutely.
go to the baseball page, all the information's there, right?
And the information, contact me or Coach Biggs, and we can give you all the information about it.
Speaking of Coach Biggs, you talked just a moment ago about splitting them into three, especially during COVID. It takes a village. Who's helping you this year with baseball?
It's kind of crazy. Coach Biggs has been with me now for 3 years, does a great job. We had Corley Reynolds that was helping, and then all of a sudden, talking about changing, all of a sudden, at the end of July, Corley accepts a graduate assistant job at South Alabama. So excited for him, great opportunity, but all of a sudden the timing was not real good. But luckily, within a week, we had a new assistant hire. Derek Mount was here. Derek played at Pearl River, played at Southeastern, and he was helping coach at D'Iberville High School, and just kind of wanted to get into college coaching and wanted to get back in. He said, I like high school, but that's not where I want to stay. I want to get into college. And so Derek Mount is helping him right now and doing a great job with our infielders and hitters. So we really just, and what's crazy is Derek and Corley were both friends, and Corley had talked to him before Corley called me to tell him that he was leaving. But Corley's doing a great job at South Alabama now, but Derek is, I'm looking forward to having him on our staff this year, and so far he's doing very well.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, we're looking forward to spring, that 2021
Let's get out of 2020.
baseball season. It's coming up before you know it.
Absolutely.
And we'll be happy to be there, won't we?
Absolutely.
Let's hope everything goes smoothly between now and then as we get ready for the 2021 baseball season. Coach Ken Jackson, thanks so much for telling us about your team. We look forward to talking to you again in the spring once baseball gets closer.
Well, I'll be here.
Well, that's Coach Ken Jackson, head baseball coach here at Southwest Mississippi Community College. And again, for more information on that showcase coming up, just visit southwestbearathletics.com. When we come back, we're going to talk Southwest football. That's on the way next here on Bear TV and Southwest Bear Athletics.
Hello everybody, I'm Elaine Coney and I teach Spanish and English composition here at Southwest Mississippi Community College and I'm a lifetime member of the Southwest Mississippi Alumni Association, and I'd like to encourage you to join our association. In addition, I do take classes here from time to time, and I've enjoyed doing that because it didn't cost me anything at that particular time. But nevertheless, I still want to encourage you to be a member of the association. Yo quiero que ustedes puedan estar en esta asociación. And I've been here for 30 years. And I love it.
Join the SMCC Alumni Association today. Call 601-276-2442. It's time to get excited about Southwest Athletics. Football season is nearly here. The SMCC All-Sport Athletic Pass will give you admission to every home game of every sport for the whole academic year. Get your All-Sport Season Pass at www.southwestbearathletics.com.
Thank you for supporting Southwest Athletics.
Get your All-Sport Season Pass today.
Reach the summit.
Well, welcome back to Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV. This week we're going to start a new segment on our program. We want to look at how COVID-19 has affected the student athlete. And we're going to start with Southwest football. Lavoisier Kelly, a defensive lineman from Lawrence County, and of course a sophomore here at Southwest Mississippi Community College, is joining us this evening. First, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, the football season is underway.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But first, what I want to talk to you about is how you as a student athlete has navigated this COVID-19 pandemic. I want to take you back to last year. Spring break comes. You guys go home for spring break. You're getting ready for spring practice. You're going to come back, spring practice. You're going to have the workouts. Coach Stowers is going to work you real hard, and then summer's going to be here. All of a sudden, that didn't happen. You were both a student and an athlete. When you got the call that you weren't coming back to school, that everything was going to be online, what was your first thoughts?
You know, it was frustrating. It was hard for me because most of the sophomores, we was looking for that spring game and that spring practice because, you know, we could showcase our talent because it's a lot of recruits that come out there and watch us. And, you know, when they told us we had to leave and stuff, it was hard on us, and we had to do our schoolwork from home and stuff like that. So it really took a toll on us and stuff like that.
And I know, especially being a football player, you guys are used to being around other football players.
Yes,
even in class,
yes,
you're
sir.
used to being around kids you know. Suddenly you're in front of a computer. How did that change your education?
You know, it was kind of hard, especially with me because, you know, I had speech and stuff, so I had to do like my speeches on YouTube, and, you know, for people that had the math, you know, it's hard to learn math on the computer instead of having a teacher in front of you. So it was tough on a few of us and stuff like that.
As far as being an athlete goes, I'm sure the coaches were in constant contact with you, but during stay-at-home orders and COVID-19, how did and your schoolwork being in front of a computer, what motivated you to run and lift and do things like that, or were you able to do things like that?
I'm self-motivated. I already know what kind of goals I wanted for myself this year, so I always got up, I did my work and stuff. The coaches also, they sent us a workout program for you to follow by, but, you know, I'm self, so I always had stuff that I did and goals I set for myself. So I go to a football field that's nearby and get my work in. I work out with people around my neighborhood and stuff like that.
So you were able to
yes, sir.
to work out during that.
Yes,
you were
sir.
able to find a place to work
Yes,
out
sir.
during
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, and then so much uncertainty with the summer comes because you really don't know if you're going to have a football season. You probably heard rumors that you weren't, rumors that you were, 8-game season, 6-game season. You really didn't know. What was your mindset all summer long? Were you just preparing like you were going to play, or was there that doubt in your mind that says, I might not play?
I was always preparing ready to play, but, you know, I was always expecting the worst also because, you know what was going to happen. So I was still preparing the play, but the coach was always saying, you guys never know what happened, especially because they kept pushing the report date back and back and back. So that also was like we might not play this year after they kept pushing the dates back to back.
I talked to Coach Ken Jackson in the first segment about this, and you were in the audience for that. We talked about athletes being where they need to be physically to play a season. You talked about the date getting pushed back. Normally you would come in 1st of July, you would have all of July, most of August to get ready for a season that would start late August, 1st of September. You guys didn't even get back on campus until the 1st of August. And even when you got back on campus, it was more about wearing masks and taking temperatures, and you still really didn't know if you'd play football. So do you feel like not just yourself, but other sophomores and even the freshmen coming in were at a physical place where they were ready to play football, or were you kind of playing catch-up?
Well, some of us were ready to get back to the ball because, you know, football is a physical sport, especially me, and I play D lineman. You know, you got to be physically ready to get back in front of those 300, 6', 8-pound linemen. It's tough. But some of us, I saw some of our players, they worked out, they did stuff like that. But I know for like the freshmen, we have a few freshmen that's kind of playing ball this year, and they didn't have the chance to go through the summer workout and stuff like that. So it was kind of hard on them.
And I was going to say, you being a sophomore, have the freshmen kind of looked to the sophomores, and likewise you as a sophomore, have you kind of brought the freshmen along to show them, hey, community college football is different than high school football, and with them kind of being a little behind, it's more important than ever for the sophomores to really kind of lead by example, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been showing them that because, you know, they're not used to this. They haven't got the full JUCO football experience yet because of the quarantine. So, you know, the sophomores, we had to step up and take them under our wing and show them the way and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And, of course, once the season does get started, and talking with Coach Tim Stowers, I know this has been a big deal. Practice was a lot different, wasn't it? You weren't able to kind of meet together as a team. The locker room, not being the biggest locker room in the world, you weren't even able to practically go in there. So how was it different coming back once you did get to start practicing football?
Well, you know, it's time consuming because you can only have a certain amount of people in each room, so it took up a lot of our time. So like we be out late at night because we still have groups that's lifting weights. They're in there till like 9 something because we had groups ahead of them that was lifting. I think we're gonna have like 15 people in there at the time lifting, and we can only have a certain amount of people in meeting rooms. So yeah, it's very time consuming for us.
Between the temperature taking and the
Oh, yeah,
meetings and all
yeah.
that, suddenly you don't just get to go practice football, do
Yeah.
you, every day?
Yeah.
There's a whole new regimen you have to go through before you even get to the football
Yeah,
field,
it
isn't
takes
it?
a lot of time.
And then once football's over, I see you guys just kind of go straight back to the dorm. You don't have that time to go back and
Yep.
undress and everything. You just go right back to your room, don't
Yes,
you?
sir. Can't stay in the locker room.
So very different time. But the good news is that at least for those 6 Thursdays,
Yes, sir.
getting off that bus, it's just football, isn't it?
It's football. You know, I'm grateful for those 6 games because we didn't have to have none at all. But I'm grateful for those 6 games to show my talent and play on that field.
Well, as a sophomore, it's different for you, but you've obviously made it through it. You haven't completed the season yet, but you guys are in a good spot here at Southwest. Been in a good spot as far as COVID goes as well. So obviously you guys are doing the right things
sir.
and doing what you need to do, not only to be ready to play football, but also to be safe, because being safe is the number one priority, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanna appreciate the coaches for that because they've been doing good with us. They've been like cleaning the locker room, make sure our helmets and stuff are disinfected, our pads. They've been doing a good job of keeping everything clean. That's why nobody came back positive for COVID yet on the football team.
And that's also a testament not only to the coaches but to the players, and you guys are doing what you're supposed to do as well, because not only are you a team on the field, you have to be a team off the field.
Yes,
don't
sir.
you?
Also, we have to be a team off the field. Make sure everybody wear their mask, be where they supposed to be. Don't be around a lot of crowds. Our coaches stay preaching that. Don't be around a lot of people. Like they really want us to go back to the room after we get done with our activities and school and football. They want us to go back to the room.
Well, season's off to a good start. Health-wise, you guys are in pretty good shape.
Yes,
It's so good to get the students' perspective of COVID-19, and I know students, teachers, coaches alike are ready for the day that, well, things can go back to normal, but they're as normal as they can be right now,
Yes,
despite COVID-19, aren't
Yes,
they?
sir. Yes, sir.
Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate getting your perspective on COVID-19. And of course, as this show is airing here on Tuesday night, don't forget Thursday night, the Bears make that trip down to Pearl River Community College. And good luck to the Bears. A couple of games left, including one here at home with Gulf Coast
sir.
in a couple of weeks. So good luck to the Bears. Thank you for what you guys are doing to put football on the field, because it's because of the players and the coaches that us fans get to watch football in the fall. And I know as a fan, I'm happier than ever to get to watch football, and that's because of the hard work that your team is doing and that your coaches are doing. So we very much appreciate that
Thank
and
you.
your time.
Thank you.
Well, that'll do it, my friends, for another edition of Inside Bear Athletics here on Bear TV. Don't forget to join us every Tuesday night, 6 p.m., right here, not only on Bear TV, but on all the social media platforms of Southwest Mississippi Community College. Until next Tuesday night, go Bears!